So today we're working with vibration and somatic movement, and this is important because of many things. So this is based on the work by Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen, and Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen is a somatic movement educator. And she came up with kind of a list of movement patterns from very abstract movement patterns like vibration to, let's say, reaching and pulling. Like if you think of babies, when you watch a baby move, the baby places the hands and the knees on the ground on all fours and presses the forehead and reaches the crown of the head forward, and it starts to walk on all fours, and then it reaches the tailbone back to come down into a child's pose or to find a way into the belly. So that becomes a bit more easy to grasp kind of movement. But today we're not doing that. Today we're going to focus on vibration, which is the first movement pattern. And the idea of vibration being a movement pattern is that even before we exist, even before all matter exists, there is a contraction and an expansion of movement, of matter. Even before matter exists, there is the idea of expanding and contracting of atoms, molecules. So that is the idea that today we're going to try to connect in a somatic movement way, try to connect with vibration. And I'm also going to incorporate this into connecting to vibration from a yoga movement point of view as well. So the idea is that, well, first of all, what I'd like you to do is close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, we're going to begin with a little bit of visualization, which is also very powerful. So I'd like you to close your eyes and take a deep inhale through the nose and a deep exhale through the mouth. And once again, deep inhale through the nose and a deep exhale through the mouth. And find a tall spine. So the crown of the head is reaching up to the ceiling. The pelvis is sinking down into the floor. And as you continue to notice your breath, I'd like you to begin to visualize a picture of the universe. Maybe if you have seen one of the latest NASA images that the telescope is taking in our solar system, you can start to try to remember, visualize some of those images. Stars, planets, stardust, star clouds, the colors, the blues, the darks, the reddish colors of maybe some formations of the stars, pre-formations of the stars. So visualizing the universe, the expansion or the expanding universe, the vast universe, how big it is. And whether we know what's between the stars, whether we know what dark matter is, whether we know what fills the universe, or whether we don't know that, We know that there is space. And that space between bodies in the universe, between planets, between stars, between rocks, between meteorites, that space is always there and is always supporting everything that's in the universe. And the same way that the universe space supports all those ginormous, gigantic bodies of matter, then we are also here in our bedrooms, in our living rooms, in our office spaces, being supported by the environment. We don't have to see the space in between, but we know that's there. It doesn't have a color, maybe it doesn't have a sensation, but we know that's there. So take 2 more cycles of breath. And then 1 more cycle of breath and begin to slowly open your eyes. So now, I'm just going to step back a little bit. What I'd like you to do is, if you're standing, I invite you to stand with me. Take your hands and bring the hands together into Anjali Mudra. Bring both feet about hip distance apart, even a little wider. So a stand in which you can feel grounded, very grounded. And if you were to move from one side to the other, then you're ready to do that, to move from one side to the other. So hands together, shoulders down, crown of the head is reaching up to the ceiling, and begin to rub your hands very fast. And then shake your hands. Shaking is good to awaken the vibration in the body. And then rub your hands again. And then shake your hands. Maybe a bit soft in the knees as well. Last one, rubbing your hands. And shake your hands. And then we're gonna close this with rub of the hands. And then start to separate your hands and just notice what you notice between the hands. Still keep a soft bend in the knees. Try not to lock your knees. So feel grounded, feel the feet on the floor. And as you feel grounded, go back and feel your hands. Notice your breath. And then what happens if you move your hands away from each other? And then what happens if you bring the hands closer toward each other? And again, moving the hands away from each other. Maybe you feel something there. I personally feel almost like the space becomes dense and I am expanding it and contracting it. And then you start to let go of that. So let go of your hands. Stay standing here. Find a focal point in front of you. So crown of the head is reaching up to the ceiling. You are tall. Feel free to close your eyes and just notice what you notice in your hands. Maybe the heat or the coldness in the hands. I feel heat. And notice if any of those qualities that you just found by rubbing the hands together and by feeling whatever you felt, notice if that continues to translate into any other areas in the body. So I almost feel for myself, my forearms, for some reason, I'm also feeling it in my toes. More like a tingling sensation in the toes or the tops of the feet. Maybe a little bit on the elbows, around the shoulders. And it's almost like this tingling sensation is slowly taking over the body. Maybe my knees, I can feel the front of the legs, maybe the back of the legs. It's almost like this vibration is expanding. And then let's just shake the legs for a second and come back into your standing position. This time bringing both feet more hip distance apart, so closer to each other. And then taking the right knee into the chest and interlacing the hands around the knee. Keep lengthening through the spine. Find your stability, let it go for a second here. So right foot comes down and then taking the left knee in, find your stability. You can also just lift the heel and keep the toes down. And then lower back down. Let's take the right foot back off the floor and bring either toes on the floor with the heel against the ankle, or bring the foot above the knee joint into Vrikshasana, tree pose. And then you can bring the hands in front of you. You can begin to reach your hands up to the ceiling and continue to feel that sensation, that tingling sensation between the hands. Now notice your foot against the thigh. Breathe here. And I like to do this with yoga poses because to me, it is a way to find new meaning, new discoveries for a pose. In this case, tree pose. Hands come together in front of the heart, knee into the center, lower the right foot down, shift to the left, either keep toes and bring heel against ankle or bring foot above knee joints. And even though I still feel the tingling, maybe I'm loosening it a little bit. Maybe the sensations are slowly erasing as my body starts to focus on another pose, tree pose. I'm not rubbing the hands anymore, so maybe the sensations are slowly disappearing. And then slowly bringing hands together as you bring knee back into the center and lower the foot down. Now I'd like you to stand again in Tadasana, mountain pose, and notice. Notice what you notice. Here, for myself, I notice a new relationship of my feet into the floor. And if you can close your eyes. And then let's begin to notice the space around the body. So if you have a door behind you, notice the relationship of your body and the door behind you. If you have a window, if you have plants, a desk, a bedroom, a kitchen, whatever those parts in your space, whatever those pieces are around in the space, start to visualize a relationship. It's almost like there is a string attached from your navel to the fridge, or from your navel to the light or the lamp above you, or from the navel to the handle of the door, or from the navel to the frame of the bed. So then we start to notice the space, notice the body, how it feels, notice your relationship to the space, and begin to notice if there are any interesting energetic feelings. How does the space energetically feels to you? It doesn't always have to feel the same way, but sometimes space can feel different. Is it inviting, or is there something that quite doesn't work in the space for you? Maybe the smells are influencing the space, whether it's a smell of essential oils or food being cooked. It influences the space as well. And then if your eyes are closed, begin to float your eyes open. See your space as you do that. Start to look around, look up to the ceiling, to the walls, to the windows, to the floor. And then bringing both hands together as you start to rub your hands again. And then taking that rubbing, and we're gonna start to rub just the skin, the forearms, shoulders. It's like you have soap and you are giving yourself an energetic shower. Then your chest, the back of the body, maybe the lower back, sacrum, your glutes, the back of the legs, the back of the calves, the front of the legs, the tops of the feet, the knees, the thighs, the belly, chest, and the back of the head, the back of the ears, and the top of the head, the front of the face, the forehead. Just rubbing with the tips of the fingers around the nose, the jaw, the lips, the front of the neck, the back of the neck. And then stand again in Tadasana as you let your hands soften by your sides. And then shifting the weight to your left leg. Right knee comes into the chest, interlacing hands around the knee. And turn the knee out to the side and place a foot below or keep toes down or foot above the knee joint. Second set of tree pose. And then notice. Continue to notice that relationship of your body and the wall behind you or the window behind you. To me, it feels like this relationship is a little bit more enhanced. And then bring the knee back into the center, hands together to find your center, lower the foot down as you shift the weight to the right, left knee comes into the chest, interlacing fingers. And then foot to above the knee joint or wherever you want to place your foot. Hands can stay in front of you or begin to reach your hands a little higher. Keep breathing. Notice the relationship of the front of the body and whatever is in front of you, or the edges of the body and whatever is behind you. And notice how your perception of the space continues to feel. And then bring the hands together, knee back into the center as you lower. And then go back to that stand that we established before where the feet are wider than hip distance apart. I'm just gonna double check the time. And then as you have both feet away from each other, bend your knees. Notice what you notice. And then taking both hands together, So think of like when I bend my knees and I'm grounded, it's almost like a mini goddess pose, or it's almost like I'm about to do Tai Chi or Qigong. So there is that sense of being grounded, but at the same time alert. So begin to rub your hands again. And then let's begin to play with the space. So shake your hands, rub your hands again. Let's do one more shake here. Shaking your hands and bring the hands together again. And then separate your hands. Now imagine you have like an energy ball between your hands, a ball of prana or a chi ball. And then let's see where we can take that ball. This is completely improvised. It is up to you where you want to begin to transport this space that is in between your hands. And you can make it a little bit bigger. I'm just gonna go to my friend, the plant here, and then just begin to play with the energy around the plant and my relationship of the plant with the hands. And then bringing that ball back in, and then maybe starting to slowly, this is very slow movement, see where else you can take it. As you maybe open it a little bit more, what happens if you take it behind you and feel the space behind you? And if you have a yoga mat or if you're just on the floor, what happens if you move into a yoga pose? What happens to that ball, to that space? And what if you start to turn the palms? So now the whole space starts to become that ball. And if you're doing a pose that requires two different sides, what happens if you switch to the other side? As you continue to feel the space behind you. What if you go into a different pose? Notice what you notice. Continue to feel that relationship of the hands and the space, your body. And what if your hands are now like the chest? Now your chest is in contact with that space. Maybe switch sides of your yoga pose. And you can let go of the pose, maybe walk back and forth. And the hands are just the point of contact, but the point of contact, as I mentioned before, can also be your chest, the back of the body, the back of the thighs. Top of the head continues to reach upwards. What if it's the back of the head in contact with the space? So it's almost like the space has everything we need to feel ourselves, to feel the space, to feel our relationship with bigger space, the space outside of the building, the space further outside of the city, the space outside of the planet. So it's all connected into that one space. And then you slowly start to find your way back into Tadasana, standing, letting go of the hands, shoulders down. Notice what you notice. Notice the space, vibration, tingling, breath. Maybe your heartbeat is a little bit more or is faster because you've been moving. You can close your eyes, you can keep a soft gaze down to the floor. Taking 3 cycles of breath. Two more cycles of breath. And the last one. And then if your eyes are closed, begin to float your eyes open. So, thank you for joining me in this live today. I love this work because it's adding extra layers to our own practice or to our teaching. Things that we can take into class or we can take for ourselves and give a different meaning to movements, maybe find a little bit more or going deeper into the work that we do. Maybe also starting to find different ways to connect with the universal knowledge. If I don't know anything or everything about the universe, then how can I use my internal knowledge, what I know so far, and connect with somatic movement this way, so then I can start to connect in different ways to the space that is around me. And then for myself, find out a little bit more about everything that is around me. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of today. And if you have any questions, please write them down or any comments, and I will answer them. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of today.